What is up, people of the internet? It is your boy Rob coming back again with another video. And in today's video, we are going to be breaking down the webcam settings I use to get it to look as good as it does. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. So for those who have no idea what's going on, this is part 3 of hopefully a 3-part series where I've been breaking down the settings on OBS, my microphone settings, and now my webcam settings that I use for creating Valorant content. Webcams are important. The visual aspect is important. At the end of the day, people being able to see you is kind of useful. Be able to give a personality. They get to relate to you. They also get to see the room that you're in, be it a messy dump, as some people's are, or a clean place where they're trying to showcase passions, etc., etc., yada, yada, yada. But you don't care about that. What you care about is webcam settings and how to make them look as good as possible. Those of you that don't know, I'm currently using the Logitech C920. Now, you may be asking, Rob, how the fuck have you got your C920 to look this good? Well, today we're going to be showing you how to go from this to this, or this, basically. And this is going to be broken down into 2 different segments. First of all, lighting. Lighting is very, very important. And then secondly, the actual OBS settings that I use. So let's get into lighting. Lighting is very important. Light is needed to help a webcam use its lens to see shit. If you are not lit well, your camera cannot see you. As a perfect example is, with no lighting, this is what my webcam looks like. Very dull, very boring, and who would click on a video like that? In this current setup, I'm using 3 forms of lighting. I have front lighting, which is here. I then have my background floods, and on top of that, kind of has an effect, I have my overhead light, which is just my generic lamp, but you can see, wait. Ah, shit. Turn on right there. Those are the 3 forms of lighting I'm using. These are very cheap and simple ways of doing it. And overall, although I spent about $100 on this, you can get lighting that does the job for a lot less. So I will link the lighting that I use in the description below. Basically, I have a 4-bit of lighting, which is essentially just a lighting bar that goes here. I'll do a quick example of it with the lighting off, just so you can see a live view of it. Just, you lose a bit of that face quality. Now, granted, it still is passable, but it does cut out quite a bit. And then if we turn off the LED floodlights, which I have connected through my phone, they're very useful, very nice, very good. I think I paid about $40 maximum for them. So again, these small investments, and that's also, I'll showcase this now. Then I'll break down why investing in lighting is useful. It's not a instant loss. But here's an example with nothing on. Now you lose the background, you lose the foreground, and the only bit of lighting that you can really see, the little bit of white reflection on my nose, oh god, is just from the screen, which is not going to be enough, especially when you're gaming. So that's why we have background lighting, and then we have some front lighting to give character, give depth, and overall give the webcam light to be able to let the audience see you. Now, as I said, lighting is an investment, because at the end of the day, by you being able to up your production quality, you are able to produce higher quality content, and more people are likely to want to check you out, at least give you a shot, and doing so may eventually give you a form of monetary income, be it through Twitch with subs and donations, or through YouTube with ad revenue. So at the end of the day, depending where you are in your career, $100 may seem a lot, but as you start to get into it, $100 will soon be paid right back. But with that being said, that is now the lighting covered, and we'll go into the webcam settings that I use. Do excuse the awful repercussion. This is going to be a little rough. I couldn't really think of a different way to do this properly, so bear with, but I promise you it will be worth it. So go into the very simple thing. We bring up our webcam settings, which is right here. You get to see me even more times. Great. Logitech HD Pro C920. We go to configure video. Things we love to see, and now we get this beautiful thing. I'll send a link to get Logitech webcam properties. There is a different version which is a little bit newer. I haven't tried using that one. I feel that I've had the best results using this version, and therefore I'll be showing you how to do it on here. Again, I'll link it down in the description so you can get that download link and hopefully I think it will work smoothly. So first things first. Turn off autofocus. Autofocus is great. As you can see here, it instantly focus. Now it's great because it will focus in on whatever. See there, again, this little blur of focus. It will make sure that you are in focus. The only downside is you will occasionally get these jitters of blurring in and out. That doesn't look too nice. And especially if you're moving a lot, it looks pretty weird. So if you turn autofocus off and then get yourself in focus, usually 9 times out of 10, the best place is just to whack it all the way up to the little tree, the little mountain icons. But some people may be a little bit closer, or they may be all the way here. Of course, you don't really want to look like a blurred out mushroom, but hey, we move. But putting us back in focus, we'll go into the advanced settings. A huge setting that you need to worry about is turning off bright light. Bright light is awful. Bright light is bad. You see bright light checked, decheck it. And a huge reason I use the C920 over the Logitech Brio is that you cannot disable bright light, as far as I'm aware, on the Brio. So although that 60 FPS boost is amazing, you're going to be looking a lot like this. And that does not look cool. This looks good. That is bad. So disable bright light. That is going to be the first thing. Of course, most likely in this case, your exposure will be a bit like this, maybe a bit crispy. You don't really want this. So what you want to do is you want to bring your exposure down. Now, don't worry if it looks under or if it looks underexposed, which for those of you who don't know, underexposed is when it looks dark and it doesn't look right. In fact, we'll show you what underexposed looks like. Yeah, if it looks like this, don't worry. Don't worry. It's fine. What you want is to have this nice smooth texture. So for me, we have it about here. There we go. So after you've found like the right exposure setting, so essentially you don't want to have, wait, I'm just going up a bit more. You don't want to have this kind of like trailed out blurry thing. You want to turn it down a tiny weeny bit so you get into this nice kind of just moody but good level. Usually around here, 50-50 with good lighting, about in the middle is right. From there, if you are a little underexposed, in this case we're not, but if you are underexposed, up the gain. The gain is your friend. You can just bring it up a bit and then boom, you are good to go. Along with this brightness, you want to have this nice little fade. Brightness, again, is very similar to gain, but has a slightly different impact. It's not the actual exposure bring up, but just bringing the colors in. There's this slight, if you put it too high, you're faded out. That's not cool. But if you're under, you look very weird. So what you want to do is you want to find this mark where it's starting to fade just a tiny bit. I think that's the nicest look that you can get on the webcam. Of course, this isn't a high quality camera, but for streaming on the internet, this is a good place to go. I then boost up the contrast a tiny bit from here, just up a tiny bit, just to boost those colors, give a bit more saturation, and color intensity I leave at normal. White balance, I leave on auto, though you can mess around with it. But as you can see here, I can't quite get it right. I often end up looking either a little blue or a little red. But if you really do fine tune it, you can get it down. Of course, finding a white balance is a lot easier when you do have a full set of studio lighting. In this case, all of the lighting that I have in my setup is artificial and I can control it all. That means that it will always be the same no matter what. I don't have to rely on the sun. I don't have to rely on a good day. I don't have to rely on it being the right time of day. I can control all of it through artificial lighting. It's great. But that is roughly the settings I rock. I then keep NTSC 60 Hz for the anti-flicker, and I personally keep my image orientation normal, but some people do like it mirrored. But those are my webcam settings I used. If you did like the video, make sure to drop a like, and if you are new, drop a sub. Also, if there's any other topics you would like me to cover regarding OBS or content creation settings, be it better TTV, franker faces, or any of that kind of shenanigans, feel free to comment it down below. Again, these webcam settings are for me. These are the settings I use. So depending on the equipment you're using, the amount of lighting you've got, your settings may be a little bit different. But you can still get the idea of how to get the most out of your webcam. With that being said, that is the end of the video. Peace out, Tulu, and goodbye. Laters.